My first guest is Michael Mary Nolan. He'll explain that bit later. Better known as Mike Nolan, formerly of the 80s supergroup Bucks Fizz. Mike was born on December the 7th, 1954 in Dublin, Ireland, but grew up in the UK. He started performing in pubs and clubs in and around London in his 20s and later went on to become part of the Eurovision winning group that between 1981 and 1988 garnered 20 top 60 singles, including 3 number ones. The classic Making Your Mind Up, Land of Make Believe, and my personal favourite, My Camera Never Lies. I'm here on the beautiful Kent coast with Darren behind the camera. Say hello, Bubs.
Hiya.
Now let's go in and see if Mike's got the kettle on. Come on.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
I'm so glad to be in the presence of an absolute icon, Mike Nolan. Thank you so much for having us.
I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here, but I have to start before we even go on about my name.
Right.
My name, which is Michael Mary Nolan, and there's a reason for it. Nothing to do with anything else. When you're born in Ireland, which I was born in Dublin in 1954, and be you boy or girl that is born, if your middle name will be either Maria for girls or Mary, and the guys had it. I've got a cousin that was born on the 2nd, I think, the 2nd of January, and every time I see him, he says, "Thank God I wasn't born in 1954." So that is part of your name, and I sent off for my birth certificate to Ireland for it when I got my first passport.
Oh, okay.
And they sent it back with Michael Mary Nolan, and I said, I can't have that. So I had to reapply for another birth certificate without my middle name being in it.
But I love how you were like trying to make sure that nobody knew about it. The showbiz started quite early, didn't it? I've got to say.
Yeah, I really started singing, having singing lessons and playing guitar when I was 16.
Right.
But then all the time I was up in the bedroom every night after work. I'd go up there, strumming guitar, learning songs. My mum and dad would be downstairs tearing their hair out because the little one's got to be put to bed. He's 7 years old. He's got to go to bed, a bit like that. And they got used to my doing it all the time. And I just did it for about, it must have been about 6, 7 years of doing it.
Right. So you always knew that you were going to be a performer, be in entertainment in some form. There wasn't a plan B, was there? You wasn't like, oh, maybe I'll be a dentist, or maybe I'll just do something completely different to showbiz altogether.
No. When I said by the time I was 30, if I hadn't made it by the time I was 30, what was I going to do? And I just think I'll worry about it when I'm 30.
Right.
I just put it off all the time. And I just kept singing all the time. I was in pubs, clubs, all around London, everywhere, all the time. And I joined, my first band I joined were called Trend.
On trend.
Yeah, very untrendy, but it was good fun. It was the first band I actually joined, and we're doing all the working men's clubs and pubs and things like that. We worked Friday and Saturday, sometimes Saturday, Sunday, always for quite a while. And then I left them because I went for an audition for a band called Brooks, which was going to be 3 white guys and 3 black guys.
Oh, nice.
Put us together like that. But they said they couldn't find the right formula for the band. So we ended up with Ricky, who was black, and 3 of us were just the white ones. So we just got on with it. And we started in 1977. We went into the studio in 79 after 2 years of rehearsals.
Wow.
We went to the studio with Polydor Records, and we had about 5 singles out.
Really?
Yeah, and how I describe the singles, I say, where Bucks Fizz Records went silver, gold, platinum, Brooks's Records didn't even go black.
Yeah.
And plus our manager was starting to handle Shakin' Stevens. So she was sort of going away, and she decided she didn't want to manage us anymore. And we were given the notice, we all phoned each other up. He said, "Did you get a cheque?" So I said, "Yeah, it's going to last, we're going to make this last," because, you know, we've got to make our money last, so we've got to pay bills. No, I ain't got to pay any bills. Because my mother was very good, because we weren't earning much money. And so she never expected wages off me,
That's
which
so
was
nice,
really
isn't
good.
it? Yeah.
But in the end, when I started, you know, I did things for them to thank them for it. But it was about, it must have been about 4 weeks later, I got this phone call from Nicola Martin. And Nicola I met in 1974.
Right.
Because she was in another band called Love Together.
Okay.
And they were on Opportunity Knocks. They won it and everything, and they were always on different things on the TV. And one of the guys was leaving the band before they did Opportunity Knocks. One of the guys was leaving the band, and they wanted a replacement. I saw the advert in the stage and in the Melody Maker. So I went up for the audition. And I went in, and they said, sorry, Mike, we actually need a bass singer.
Right.
And I said, I can sing low, you know. They said, with a really high voice like that. So I said, oh, that's a shame. And as I was leaving, Nicola, she was there at the audition because it's her band. She came out to me and said, I'm really sorry about that. I really liked your voice. So if we needed a high voice, we'd have had you. But she said, but also what's not in your favour with us is you were a bit too young.
Oh, really?
So I said, oh, okay. But I kept in touch with Nicola after that. I always phoned her. I went and saw Love Together working. And I was really envious because they were doing everything I want. I wanted to be in a vocal band, all the routines and everything. And they were really hot with it, really, really together. And I always stayed in touch with her. When she found, she was up at Polydor Records, which is the record company that Brooks was signed to, that had let us go. She was having lunch with somebody from that record company, and he was telling her about letting this group go, a group called Brooks. And she said, who was in that band, Brooks? That rings a bell. And he told him that he gave my name. That's my name, the one he remembered.
Right.
And she said, I know him. She said, he tried to get into Love Together. So anyway, she phoned me up and she said, I'll tell you why I'm phoning you. We're entering some songs for Song for Europe. We want to know if you want to come to the studio and help us do the demos for the entries. I said, yeah, of course I'll do that for you. And went up to the studio, and it was on a Saturday morning. And went in, and we did it verse by verse, got it down, we put all the harmonies down, and we finished it. And Nicola said, "Ah, that was really good, Mike." She said, "If this song gets through for it, we'll put you in the group." So I said, "No, I don't want to be in the group."
You didn't want to be in the group?
No, I said, as I've left the other girl, I'm going to try it on my own.
Right, okay.
Anyway, the song was accepted.
Of course it was. You were on it, Mike.
she phoned me up. She said, they've accepted Making Your Mind Up. So I said, oh, brilliant. She said, we want you to be in the band. She said, oh, is it going to be successful? She said, you might as well be in it, Mike. It's another thing to put on your CV. You did Song for Europe. He said, let's face it, Making Your Mind Up, I'll never win it anyway. 44 years later, I just left the band.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know what, as well? It's a testament to your character and just the lovely person that you are, that years after she initially met you, she remembered you. You know, you meet some nice people and then some not so nice people. And obviously...
And the ones that are not so nice, you don't remember them.
You don't remember them.
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
take their number. You definitely don't call them
Or
up
if you
to
take
for
the
a gig.
number, you lose the number.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But then the thing is, there was something about you and your voice that wanted her to work with you in any shape or form. Like, she was just trying to find something for you to be in. I mean, it's lovely, obviously, to have a band formed around you. Did you feel pressure at any point to think, oh, gosh, you know, people aren't getting picked, you know, because they've got to form it
No, I
around
didn't.
me?
No. I never felt any pressure at all. I didn't even feel honoured about it. I just felt very excited about it. Because I didn't choose them. I didn't choose them at all. I became very close with Cheryl, but I didn't want Cheryl in the band.
You didn't?
No,
What was it?
I said, I don't like Cheryl. She's a troublemaker. Because, go back to Brooks, there was a guy in Brooks who was in Coco originally, and Coco is the group that were in Eurovision when Cheryl was with them.
Right, yes.
And he worked with Cheryl, and he had said to me, she's a real troublemaker. And the next thing, Nicola said to me, "Oh, the girl from Cheryl from Coco's coming on for the audition." Says, "Oh, you don't want her in the band. She's a terrible troublemaker."
Really? But was the other guy a stirrer? Was it true?
Oh, I'm not. No, well, apparently no, it wasn't true because I got when Cheryl walked in, we just hit it off straight away. Straight away.
Yeah, there you go. Isn't it funny how personality clashes and then how rumours can start?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, you
Which
don't
is
wanna...
why I never take notice of anybody's rumours. Isn't it nice when my clock goes like that?
It is gorgeous, isn't it? Let's just drink that in.
It is now 2:00 in the afternoon.
It is 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
In Mike Nolan's incredibly showbiz house. This is the most showbiz house I've ever been in, by
It's
the
not
way.
showbiz at all.
I just went and just was luxuriating in the bathroom, and I thought I better come out now. He's gonna wonder what I'm doing.
I've never known anybody take so long to have a pee-pee.
That's true. I'm moving in. Mike doesn't know this. I've already got my feet up and everything, but
Yeah, they're well up, aren't they? Yeah.
yeah, they
Sure.
are. But look at all the discs on the walls, platinum.
But you know what I
gold.
say? Having all those discs, it was lovely when we got them. I mean, it was brilliant to get them. But they're on the wall. And because they're on the wall, you just don't notice them.
It becomes every day, does it?
It becomes an everyday thing. It's like in the hall, I've got all memorabilia out there. But if you say to me, what memorabilia have you got? I'd have to think about it.
Right.
Because I don't know what's on the wall out there. So you just get used to having it. Like I think of people like Paul McCartney and all these big stars been around for years. I mean, Elvis for a start, Cliff Richard. They must have a house just full, every wall must be full of them. I went around to some very famous person's place and they're all along the wall, floor like that, just on the floor, all piled up.
really?
They don't put them up.
Oh, I mean, it would be a lot if you had every wall in here.
Yeah,
covered, it
I
would
know I
just be
couldn't do
mad,
that.
wouldn't
No.
it?
So I'm quite happy having the wall. I mean, I gave some of them to my family as well.
Oh right.
Yeah, because I thought I don't need this whole lot. I made them pay for them though.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll pay for it.
Let's say I didn't charge much, but they did extend their mortgage.
But you know, it's nice to have and to have a reminder of everything that you've done. Like you said,
Yeah.
44 years.
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you something. I don't know whether I know Show hasn't got everything, but I collected everything we had.
Oh, okay.
Like when we did the Song for Europe, when you do it at the BBC, the audience go in and they're given a ticket which says Eurovision on it and a ticket, slab ticket. I got one. And the Eurovision tag we had round us, when you watch the reprise of the song, you can see me doing it with it round my neck.
Brilliant.
Because when we went onto the stage, everyone handed theirs to the security guys.
Okay.
We came off, then we were surrounded by press and security and everything. But I was the only one on the stage who had it round his neck. Things like that I kept, and there's sheet music. There's what else? I've got so much stuff, but there's nowhere to put it in here. I had them all up in my kitchen at home, and I did through the keyhole. And they went in there and they just looked along the wall. And when I've seen it, I thought, oh my God, I've got all that stuff in a box. What a shame to have it all in a box.
But then it's just so lovely to have. It's
Oh, yeah.
great.
But I collected absolutely
Everything.
everything. You know, all photographs. I mean, I've got thousands of photographs of us travelling all over the world.
The thing is, you might forget, and then that's a shame, isn't it? To forget what you've got and what you've done and who you've met. Like, there's a picture of you out there with Prince Charles, as he was Prince Charles back then, you know.
And there's the best photograph I've got is the one with me and Princess Diana. And what happened was we went to see a lot of children, unfortunately, were seriously ill, and there were these people taking them off to Disney World. One day we got this phone call saying they wanted us to come along. This was us. I think Spandau Ballet were there, Duran, really big people were there. And we were in this room and all these people were going to come in, these kids were going to come in and see us. And they went absolutely ballistic when they saw us.
bet, yeah.
And we're talking to all of them, you talk to them before they go off. The next thing, in walks Princess Diana. And I stood like, I went, oh my God. And so I said, you can't speak to her until she speaks to you. But she wasn't like that. She just wasn't. So anyway, she was going around talking to people, all the kids and everything, and they're all sort of in awe of her and everything. She looked absolutely
I
stunning.
bet she did.
Just beautiful.
Always turned out beautiful.
And we go out, and all these kids are going off to to get on the plane, and everyone was just generally in there talking with each other, and because they wanted us at the end to go out and wave at everybody on the plane like that. And out we go to do it, and Diana is standing right next to me, and she says to me, "How are you doing?" So I said, I'm really well, thank you. She said, "I still remember that terrible, terrible accent you had." So I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm very, very lucky." I said, "I look at these kids," and the guy said, "Oh, can you wave at them now?" And everyone turned around to look at them, and I went, and the press saw it, got it, and the next day it was in every single newspaper.
Really?
On the front page, of, "Sorry, Diana, you're keeping me awake."
Oh, God.
And I was very upset about it.
I bet you were.
But a year later, we did a concert at the Palladium, and it was one of her charities. And after the show, she came round to meet everybody. Again, all the big pop stars and everyone, you know, big entertainers were all there, a bit like the Royal Variety, all sat there. She was coming along meeting us, and she said, "No, this is Mike, Cheryl, Jay, and Bobby from Bucks Fizz." She came along, shook hands with all that, and she came right back to me. And she said to me, "Please don't yawn this time." And I went, "Oh, well, God, she says, "Don't worry about it." She said, "I thought it was hilarious."
All that charity work that you were doing, are you affiliated to any charities now?
I was at one called Busk, which is to do with Busk, which stands for Belt Up School Kids, and it's to do with the coaches or minibuses that take kids on outings or to school, and some of them never had seatbelts in them.
Yeah.
And some of them had crashes, and a lot of the children have died.
Okay.
So this charity is set up to have all these minibuses that take these kids everywhere should, by law, have seatbelts. They have to have them now. But in those days, they didn't need them.
And and obviously that's really close to your heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because if I'd have been wearing a seatbelt, I'd have been... Mind you, if I'd have been wearing a seatbelt when we were on the coach that we had the crash in, I'd have broken my back.
That's it, isn't it?
So, because it wasn't one that just went down you like that, just went across you like that, up the front of a
Okay.
coach. Whereas other people on the coach didn't have seatbelts either. So, a couple of injuries in that, unfortunately.
Of course, yeah. Do you remember a lot of it? Or
No, nothing at all. Not a thing about it.
nothing at all?
No, nothing.
Nothing from the journey preceding that? Nothing at all?
I remember going up to the driver. I remember that. And we called Cheryl down. Some fan had bought me a box of Ferrero Rocher. Big box.
Lovely.
And I said to Pete, the driver, "These are ours. Don't tell anybody they're on here. Put them behind your seat and leave them there. And every night after a gig, we'll have one each. We'll have one in the morning when we get on. And this will see us right the way through the car." I went down there to get some. I said, "Fancy Ferrero Rocher?" He said, "Yeah, that'd be nice, Mike." Went to get them. I said, "Someone's been eating these. You've been eating these?" He said, "Nope." And he had that guilt. So you got that guilty look on your face. He said, "I didn't touch them." He's driving like this. He went, "Cheryl, get down here." Down she came.
And that was that?
That was it.
Wow.
So me and Cheryl went through the windscreen. So did the driver, and so did one of our musicians, Steve Laurie. It was. He went through the windscreen afterwards and rolled up the road and got us saying, "What the flaming hell happened?"
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, so it was quite. It was a horrible, horrible time.
Of course, I
Yeah.
bet it was. What did you actually? Did you collide with another vehicle, or was it?
No, it was roadworks in. It was up in Newcastle. It happened, and it was a dual carriageway, and traffic, goes like that dual carriageway. There was roadworks on the other side of the dual carriageway, so it was traffic was transferred onto ours. So we didn't have double lanes; it was single lane.
Okay.
And the lorry and the coach actually hit the lorry.
Oh right.
But we are so lucky to actually be alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually lived through it.
And you were saying that you spent, was it 6 weeks in hospital?
Yeah, I was in
afterwards?
there for 6 weeks. Tom, who broke his back, was in there for 3 months.
Wow.
But when me and Tom meet up, we talk about it, and because I had a head injury, like it's just happened just now as I'm talking to you about it, something in my head starts going boom, boom. right there from where the injury happened.
Okay.
And Tom's arm, where he has his constant pain in his arm, but he doesn't feel it anymore until you mention it, and it starts to throb.
Becomes
When we
aware,
get
yeah.
together, I say, don't mention it. He says, too late, I'm throbbing.
Throbbing. That could mean anything.
Never thought about it that way. I should say, what, your arm as well?
This is a family show, Mike. It's not. Okay,
Yeah.
right. So obviously, do you suffer with migraines now, or is it?
Do you want to know something? I'll tell you that the worst headache I had was the following day after the accident, and my head was pounding, and I thought my brain was going to explode.
Oh, really?
And it's because when I went through the windscreen, I must have banged my head. We don't know where we banged it, whether Cheryl could have landed on my head, I could have hit my head on the floor, I could hit my head on the windscreen, well, I don't know what it was. And the next day I had a most violent headache. And I remember going into Cheryl's room. I remember seeing Cheryl. I can still remember, she was lying on her stomach. She looked a wreck.
Really?
She really did, like, because we landed on, there was glass, oil, everything was on the floor. And all Cheryl's legs are marked from it. I got certain marks on my back from it. And I don't know how I banged my head. We don't know how it happened, and if it did happen. And I went to see Cheryl the next morning, and she looked at me, she said, oh, if your fans could see you now. So I said, what's the matter with me? She said, go look in the mirror. Looked in the mirror, my hair looked like I'd been bouffonted.
Your hair?
Yeah, because we all had long, you know, the hair in the 80s, guys had long hair, longish. And my hair was all out like that.
Oh, really?
It's from the oil and everything that was in it. And I looked and I said, oh, my head's pounding, Cheryl. She said, go and see the nurse. Ask for some headache pills. I remember seeing the nurse, and she said to me, no, you can't have any pills, you've got to lay down. And she came and opened the window, and I went to sleep and woke up 6 weeks later. Oh, because that's
really?
because the clot's gone in. This is why I always say to people, always, always, always wear your seatbelt.
Yeah.
And don't speed in your car either.
Absolutely.
But I had a pounding headache, and that was it. And 6 weeks later, I came around after 2 weeks. And then it was about 4 days I came around. I don't remember. The last 2 weeks I do remember in hospital.
Okay. And were you like itching to get out by the?
I wanted out. I wanted out.
I bet.
And my parents were up there all the time. They stayed all the time up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my brothers was down here. But they came up a lot to see me. I don't remember them coming up or anything like that. You know, it's a horrible, horrible thing to happen, you know. And it's still, it's something that I never forget it. I don't go on about it. I went on about it for a few years after it, trying to come to terms with it, trying to work out what was wrong and the after effects and everything of it. But I would say I was lucky in an unlucky way. And that's, I'm lucky to be alive and unlucky to what's happened to me.
Yeah.
But I am, you know, I'm fighting fit.
Yeah, you're here, which is the main
and
thing.
that was it. I survived it. You know, I can't drive anymore. And that's where I feel I'm unlucky. But you know, the fact is, I've come to terms with it a long time ago. But when I get in the car with someone, I always say to them, God, I wish I was driving.
I bet.
But you really do. And when I hear people moaning about traffic, I say to them, listen, don't worry about the bloody traffic. I said, you're behind a wheel, you're driving, leave early. That's how you've got to do, leave a bit earlier.
Yeah.
You know? And people who just drive like lunatics, you know, when you lose your licence, that's when you begin to realise how you lose your independence.
Absolutely.
And when you lose your independence, you're absolutely stuck.
I guess that's probably, so obviously after the accident, straight after then, was it a coordination thing why you can't drive anymore, or is it remembering what to do, or the sequence of things?
No, I did remember what to do, you know, and I did actually drive, and I shouldn't have driven, and I nearly caused an accident, and that's why I thought, I can't do this.
Okay.
You know, and I lost 50% vision.
Okay.
You see, that's why I couldn't drive.
Okay.
So, and that never came back. So, I've come to terms with it. You know, life goes on, you know, and you know, people have got to pay all their insurance on their car and pay for a car and pay for all that petrol. I just jump in a cab.
There you go, exactly. And actually, that's quite more showbiz to be chauffeured around. It's perfect.
You do come to terms with a lot of things, but when people talk to me about driving, do you miss driving? I say, oh, don't talk about it. Of course I miss it, and you really do. But you know, as I say, I'm leading my own life.
Exactly. And you were still able to carry on after the group.
Yeah.
After the accident.
Yeah.
And still do all your dance moves, still, you know, sing all your songs, you know, remember all the lyrics and everything. So it's
Well, no, I wouldn't go that far. Remember, the lyrics was a joke. You had my mic turned down. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I picked it up eventually. But I mean, I used to panic about it. I panicked about everything. I got this thing in my head that my memory's really, really playing me up. And in the end, you think my memory's playing up, and really it's like when I'm doing pantomime. So the opening night of the pantomime, I'm tearing my hair out, panicking about the script. But I actually do get it together.
Yeah.
But I do bluff a lot.
Yes,
But nobody knows it.
but you're great at improv, so that's the thing. And you're a creative person.
No, they say
So-
that I said to someone, I'm really good at my ad libs, aren't I? So I said, I wouldn't call it an ad lib. I'll call it a bad lib. So my ad libs are bad libs. They really are. But you know, it's not ad lib. It's cover up.
Cover up. Do you know what? As long as it's got something to do with the storyline in general.
No, nothing to do with it at all.
Oh, right. I'm trying to save him here.
Yeah, no. When people come and see me, you want to ask Cheryl Baker what I'm like in Panzo, she would tell you some very funny stories. But I didn't do that, did I? I said, well, you don't think I'm making it up, do you? But that's, you know, it's just your, she said, you're very funny.
Yeah.
I'm very funny when I'm doing it. But I don't mean to be. It comes out
You
that
just
way.
are.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's brilliant. How long have you been doing the panto for?
Oh, I did my first panto in 1989.
Gosh, really?
Yeah, and then I stopped for about 10 years, but then I started doing it again, and I started doing it with John, the guy who did the first. I did the first one with Cheryl. Cheryl was doing a panto, and they wanted a replacement. They were replacing a guy in it because he couldn't do it.
Okay.
And he says to Cheryl, do you know anybody that could play the part of Silly Billy? And she went,
She would, yeah.
yeah, she said straight away, I got the right person for you. So she phoned me up. She said to me, fancy doing panto with me? I said, no, I don't want to do panto. I said, I can't remember the lines. She said, come and have a go. I said, no, I don't want to do it. And when I went down there, we had to have this read-through. And when we first travelled on, when I first joined the band, I used to buy books, people's autobiographies and things like that. I used to read them on flights and everything. I used to go through a whole book a day.
Really?
Yeah, easily. Just read them all the time on flights and everything up there. Unless I fancy the chat, and then I would put the book away and then talk. So I used to do more talking than I did reading. But when I started, after the accident, because I lost 50% of my vision, and when I'm reading, I've got to try, I'm very, very slow with it. It takes me a long, long time to read a book. But I would sit and do it. And when it came to the script, when we're sitting around as a team, all reading the scripts, everyone's flying through it like that. And I can't see all the words, first of all.
Right, okay.
And I was making a lot of errors at the read-through. Because you know what the read-through is, you know, you sit and you do all that.
Yeah.
And we did the first time and then went off to the loo. I said to Cheryl, I feel really stupid. I can't stand this. I'm making a fool of myself. I said, don't worry about it, you're okay. I went off to the loo and Cheryl said, excuse me, could I have all your attention for a moment? I've got to explain something to you. You know, he had that accent. She told me that the accent might lost 50% of his vision, which is why he's very slow with his reading. He said he feels bad sitting there, like sounding like an idiot. And I really did. You do feel that way. And when I came back, they were all so different. They were very good with it.
Yeah.
But I said, they've been very nice to me. I got into the car and Cheryl was dropping me back to the station. She wouldn't bring me home, tight-fisted cow.
Cheryl.
No, she dropped me to the station. She said to him, by the way, I told him about your vision. I said, Now, what do you do that for? She said, Mike, I had to do it because you were getting highly strung about the way you're reading the script.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, but I got used to it. Don't worry, you shouldn't have told him. But she said, and John, the guy who I've done loads and loads of pantos with, he was telling me all about it. He said, it just made us realise, we didn't know that, Mike.
Yeah, that's it. And I guess you're not the kind of person to go in and be like, I've got this and I've got this and I've got
No,
this.
I didn't want people to know.
Yeah.
I was just me.
Yeah.
But it was really, really... But every time we do panto, you sit and you read your scripts and everything, you feel such a knob with it all. I feel right twat, you can't even... But, you know, John writes the scripts and he sends them to me.
Early.
Very early.
So you can get it together, yeah.
He sent it to me before I did last year's panto. He sent me next year's panto
Stop
script.
it.
No, he didn't. He sent me the day after. No. But he's really good. He knows. And he said to me, when we're going out there, he says, read the script. He said, what panto's he in?
It's not it. It's not what I've written. Yeah. But I guess he sends it to you now knowing, you know,
Yeah,
take artistic life.
but he says, when I make all the errors, he just loves it. He loves errors.
It's entertaining. And it's different every night, I guess, you know.
Oh, don't stick to the script.
Yeah.
Mind you, I did stick to the script. I really did. Because it's nice to be professional. But in the end, it was getting boring. Everyone's doing it right. So I thought,
Forget that. Let's mix it up a bit.
so I started this chat. John used to say to me, how does your mind work, for God's sake? So I said, a bit bad dip for you, innit?
It's all right. Do you know what? There's some actors who are hating you, and then there's some who are loving you because it's, you know, they love getting something new.
Oh, do you know
every
what?
night.
The people I was working with thought I was a real amateur. Now, the people I was working with, they were amateurs in it.
Right.
Me and John were pros in it, supposed to be pros. Professional singer. John's a professional comedian. I'm a professional singer. We're not professional actors. But when it comes to when you see me in panto, I'm very professional. Hark! What's the next line? Romeo, where for art thou? Who's it? Is it Romeo?
Hark, what's the next line?
Yeah. Hark. Is that the cat's I was on there one night. I tell you this very funny story. I had to walk out and someone was talking to me on the side of the stage. And I'm going to the script like that, checking all my lines. I said, right. I said, Mike, by the way, next week, I think, you're on. Oh, I'm on. I said, my mind went blank. And I said, hi, Mum. And he looked at me and he went, in his mind, he's forgotten his lines. So I said, my line was, Mum, I've searched everywhere for Aladdin and I can't find him anywhere.
Right.
Right? And I went out, I went, oh, Mum. Oh. And he went, what's the problem? And I went, I just don't know where to begin. And he looked at me and he said, well, you just take your time. And I said, I'm just going to go and check something. He said, no, don't leave, please, stay. So I said to him, and I'm going, and I went like that. I said, can't remember my line. Forgetting, my mic's here. Forgot about that. So no, sorry, no, that is what happened. I didn't say anything about the mic. He turned around and he said to me, no, he said, let me get a chair, you stay there. Go and tell me what you want to tell me. So I go, wow, it's just, I've got to go and do something. I'm just let me go and check something. So he said, okay, you go and check. He goes to the audience. It's all right, he's forgotten his lines.
And then they all went,
and they'll burst out laughing. So I said, Mum, I've searched everywhere for Aladdin and I can't find her. He said, this is Cinderella. I mean, Cinderella I'm looking for. Because I've done loads of Aladdins with him. But, you know, little things, and he loves all that.
8-hour panto.
Yeah, but
you got to the day off.
But the audience were brilliant with it. But as an artist, you feel a real idiot. Because you don't like, as an artist, to do it like that, do you?
Well, no, but it is a panto. It's not like you're doing, I don't know,
It doesn't matter.
Shakespeare or,
Yeah,
you know, some
it doesn't
heavy.
matter.
But
no,
I know what you mean. You want to get it right. You do want to get it right.
yeah, do everything right.
But we might have to pause because my eye's watering. You wouldn't get called back year after year after year if you weren't brilliant at it. Like fame or no fame. If someone comes on and they're famous and like just rubbish, you're not going to get called back. You started in 1989, you had a little break. It's 2025 and you're still doing it, mate.
2025. Oh, blimey.
It's because you got
The
presents,
years
darling.
flying by. Yes, birthday presents.